25% in cognitive stimulation, bottom 25%. So with vocabulary, it kind of works. People who are reporting throughout their lives, they've been involved in a lot of cognitive stimulation, spatial relations, digit symbol, paired associate learning, not so much. And he's got a whole list in the paper for today of different kinds of things that get counted as cognitive stimulation, which actually ends up being a pretty diverse range of stuff, some of which has always sort of bothered me. Like a lot of the studies, watching television gets counted as a cognitive enriching activity, which for the most part hasn't been my experience. And reading probably depends on what people are reading.
I know I asked this question last week, but I'm going to write it down again. The digit symbol.
Digit symbol is you've got a.
Is that sequence like A, B, Y?
No,
C, D,
that's inferential reason. Digit symbol is you have numbers, the digits, and you have novel symbols. Hopefully, novel symbols. Now everything's posted on the web. And your task is you have to write the symbols into the matching numbers. You've got like a key, and then you've got a whole list of numbers.
Like a code.
Yeah, and you have to write them in, and you have a limited amount of
So it's like a numeric code. I mean,
yeah.
You have to make. Okay.
Yeah, it's just how quick you can do it.
But I mean, it sounds like coding. Like, so each number has a code.
Has
it's
a
like
matching code.
It was an alphabet and it had a matching code.
Yeah.
Okay.
Except that unlike the alphabet, the symbols are actually presumed to be new to them.
Okay.
And it's, depending on what paper you're reading, it gets interpreted as meaning a variety of things. Sometimes it's as simple as like a motor speed, sometimes including attention, sometimes working memory, sometimes some combination of those. Test kit. The correspondence of the psychometric test of intelligence to particular mental functions is not always crystal clear. What people did, I mean, these are the things, all of these are from the Wechsler scale. And Wechsler, most workings in the 30s, mostly took over things that psychiatrists were doing in an informal, idiosyncratic way, and organized them and made them more structured and more consistent and developed norms for them, which is a major task. But the development of any of those tasks was actually very ad hoc and not really rooted in either cognitive psychology or neuroscience in any way. And I think one of the problems that the whole tradition that has up till now has is that if you were doing this now, this might not be the test that you would choose, because we have more of an idea now of what the cognitive functions probably ought to be, and certainly more ideas about how the brain is divided up. Probably still not all that far along, but further ahead than we were in the 1930s. So sometimes we're trying to kind of ram these modern concepts. We're trying to use very old tests that aren't at all related to the modern concepts to more modern concepts. It gets a little tricky. Okay, here we go. This is their cognitive enrichment zones. Like zip codes or something. Alicia?
Oh, I just wanted to ask, some of those papers we're reading are pretty old. Are they still relevant?
Which ones?
Some from the essential papers.
Yeah. Well, they're relevant in one of two ways. They're either, they show you how long we've been dealing with some of these concepts, or they show you where we've been in the past versus where we are. So you've got, between those and the reserve readings, you've got a span of time in psychology.
The style of writing is pretty funny.
Something to keep in mind, too. sometime in the future, you'll be 60, 65. People will be reading the stuff that you're reading now and say, God, that Salt House and the Herzog, it's really archaic style of writing. It's going to happen. It will. I can't believe people were still like wrestling with these ideas. It's 2010 already, and they were still. You'll see. So this actually captures several items because you get cognition and age, and the general shape of this captures the idea that they still are generally seeing the overall zone of achievement of cognitive ability to decline at least after age 60 or so, and out to the 100 mark and beyond, that the zone of what's possible is going to be different than what was possible when you were younger. On the other hand, they're making the point that at each of these age points, there is a pretty wide range of possible cognitive ability. This is getting really cool.
One day you'll just have to install it, right?
Yeah. Yeah, maybe we should just like take a few minutes. And of course, many of these points, you could be out here, and maybe still doing better than the low end of people back at some of the younger ages. And this is an interesting line that has both intrigued me and bugged me almost all my postdoc life. You generally wouldn't consider cognitive decline to be either particularly socially important, and you certainly wouldn't give somebody a dementia diagnosis until they're dysfunctional in some sense. But it's one of the things that keeps us out of trouble with a lot of psychiatric diagnosis, right? We all have different kinds of personality traits, but it's only a personality disorder if it's causing social or occupational dysfunction in your life. We all have ups and downs and moods and stuff, but it's only when it's, I would argue for pain as well, but it causes you a lot of pain or is interfering with social and occupational functioning that you should get diagnosis. And we generally apply that in dementia, and a lot of the cognitive reserve argument, a lot of cognitive enrichment arguments are sort of depending on if you're in the high range. Let's see a better slide of this next exhibition. If you're in the high range here, it's going to take you longer to get to this level, right? Actually, just hold that thought till we go to the next page. So, but of course, the further out here you get, the more the zone is below the line. The more, the further down, your highest possible level is still lower than the highest possible level was back in here. Of course, as you'll remember from last week's lecture, even a couple of decades ago, we were teaching that the zone would have gone down more like that rather than like up it for ways and holding on through middle age.
It's also kind of interesting that the biggest distribution seems to be at age 80.
Yeah, but what do you think that's about? They sort of get larger here. I guess they get larger from like 20 to 80. Is that about right? And then 90s and 100s, they kind of cut